By today, I just got a few slides and we're going to do a live demo of the AWS Calendar Invite Server working with some APIs. We have 9 core APIs that we work with. Our application today we're looking at is called the Calendar Snack. It runs on top of the AWS Calendar Invite Server. So if I work backwards a bit, you can see here in number 1, I'm going to demonstrate how the Calendar Invite Server works. With number 2 are APIs, talking to an API gateway, then servicing the Calendar Snack application itself, which talks to the gateway as we work backwards. The particular thing I'm going to focus on a little bit here in the highlight is how to get data into the Calendar Invite Server. And that's something we built in First Principle. It's a data extraction service that works with the simple email service, SES, right here. And SES is just, in this case here, a mailbox, if you will, on the SES server. So when you download our stack, back to the stack, this stack here, when you download it, you're able to access the configuration management in your own AWS SES. And then you can basically build out your own email box. This is just an arbitrary box. Back to the demo, we use this box we built for analogy, create at calendarsnack.com. When you do that, we ingest the calendar invite data into the AWS Calendar Invite Server, and we display it with our API. So as we work backwards here on the right, this is a personal calendar. You double click these open. We use the create at calendarsnack.com metaphor for dropping it off in the box. And it is now stored through a calendar invite disassembly process. And then we store it in DynamoDB for it to be retrieved. So this screen here shows retrieval through the APIs into a screen in the console for the Calendar Snack app we built. This here is the 1, 2, 3, which I just reviewed. And the good stuff we get to is a generated landing page with all this data on it. So somebody can actually put their email address at the top, click one button, get a calendar invite, in which we track. So that's the end of that. And let's get into live demo. So back to how this works in live demo. I'm going to bring up a Safari and a Chrome. There's the Chrome. Here's the Safari. And what we have going on here is if you go look at the next game coming up is Minnesota Twins versus Milwaukee Brewers. This is one of the 2,400 events on my calendar for the MLB, Major League Baseball. Now, we're only displaying, obviously, over here in our picker, in our app, the forward games, so anything in the future. So today is June 21st, and I'm showing the forward game schedule for today as an example. And if I click through the picker here, we're visualizing all these various different games. Now, these games came onto this schedule here in the Calendar Snack application by working with the APIs, which I just showed you here. So our API kit is working with the Calendar Snack app, and it's displaying the upcoming games. So we're calling on the APIs to visualize this game data over here. So if you look at the game data, back to the 2 windows, and not getting too much off script, you'll see that the create at calendarsnack.com command was used. This data was ingested onto the calendar, and you'll see that this command here is universal across anybody trying to ingest data into the Calendar Invite Server for our demo. Again, you would actually download the AWS Calendar Invite stack, install it in your own account, and you'd be off and running and using the same workflow process, which is very simple to adopt. Now, one of the core principles in how we work is that the calendar client on the organizer side, which is this person over here, can actually add, change, and update and delete data off this game schedule. So example here, as I scroll down, you'll see that I'm looking for Minnesota Twins. As I scroll down, there's the game data for the Twins. And I'm just going to basically populate this engine by putting an email address in. We're going to use Zach. I click this required box. I'm going to go down to Minnesota Twins again, and you'll see that the details are here. They're exploded out in this game space here. You'll see details here. And what I'm going to do is actually update this data over here, get a free hot dog when you stop by booth number 231. at the show or at the game. Okay, so here I just added get a free hot dog when you stop by booth 2231 at the game, period. And you're going to see this data show up over here. It is like magic, but that's the way ingest is. We're going to go ahead and send and update this. And what you're going to see is over here, I'll go back to here. You'll see that it's on the game schedule, get a free hot dog. It's not on this schedule over here on this calendar. What I'm going to do is hit refresh, and I'm going to go back through this process. It's the 21st. Here's a schedule for the 21st. There's the Minnesota Twins. And you'll see that when I refresh for this game, it does a cron sort, and you'll see the first one that comes up, which is the first one coming up here, which is the game schedule is for noon. And you'll see that the free hot dog is on the data set in the S3 bucket. So what happened was magically, we follow this first principle process, which is any data here that's pushed or updated and stored in here and pulled by our APIs here, that data is now on the S3 bucket for the APIs to pull. And in that display mechanism, which is upcoming calendar, I just showed you that we do live updating. So the cool part of all this is that our data set is compliant to AWS and how things work as far as ETL and how the S3 bucket works to the API gateway with DynamoDB. So that said, I will wrap it up right there. That's probably enough in minutes. And thanks for stopping by.